Okay, what is BADI?
Business add.
Business add-ins.
So BADI
Industry.
means business add-ins. So BADI is a enhancement technique. BADI is one of the enhancement technique, and BADI follows object-oriented programming approach. What about customer exit? Customer exit follows procedural programming approach, right? BADIs follows object-oriented programming approach. BADIs contains interface methods. What is the interface method? What is the interface method? Or what is the interface in object-oriented programming? Interface contains methods
Without
without any
implementation.
implementation. What is the interface method or what is interface? Interface contains all the methods without any implementation. They just contains importing parameters and changing parameters. And all the interface methods should be public. Please remember this. All the interface methods should be public. Okay. So what is the interface?
It contains methods without any
Yeah,
implement.
it contains methods without any implementation. Okay. So since SAP doesn't support multiple inheritance, so we can achieve multiple inheritance to interfaces. That means how can you implement the interface? How can you implement the interface method?
Help of class.
With the help of class. You cannot directly create implementation for interfaces. First, you need to add the interface to one class, and then you can create the implementation for the interface method. Okay, clear? So how we are going to achieve multiple inheritance? You can add multiple interfaces to the same class. Okay, you can add multiple interfaces to the same class so that you are going to acquire all the methods of those two interfaces or any attributes of those two interfaces, two or more. Okay, right. So what is BADI? BADI is a business add-in. It follows
Object oriented.
BADI. What does a BADI contain? BADI contains interface methods. What is the interface method?
It contains methods.
Methods
Without
without
any
any implementation. Okay,
Implementations.
it's just a skeleton. It just contains some importing parameters and changing parameters. Okay, so what is the advantage or what is the additional advantages of BADIs than customer exits? So BADIs supports multiple implementations. Okay, BADI supports multiple implementations. For example, there is a BADI and there is an interface method. User A can implement his own functionality and user B can create a separate implementation for same BADI definition to implement a different functionality. Okay, so that each user can create their own implementations for the same BADI. When you execute the standard transaction code, all these implementations will trigger. Whatever the multiple implementations created by multiple developers, right? All these implementations will trigger along with the standard functionality. But in the customer exit, only one implementation, that will trigger at the time of executing the standard transaction code. But when you create multiple implementations, all these implementations will trigger randomly one by one. Okay, so multiple implementations are possible in BADIs. Okay, so it is very important interview question. It's a very common interview question. What is the difference between customer exit and BADI? Okay, so the very important points about the differences: customer exits follows customer exit follows procedural
Procedure.
programming model using function modules. BADI follows object oriented programming using class methods. Okay, it here what does BADI uses? Class methods. Customer exit contains function modules. BADI contains interface methods. Okay, what does a customer exit contain? Function modules. BADI contains interface methods. Customer exits contain single implementation, and BADI can have multiple implementations. Okay, clear? These are the few important differences. Going forward, we'll discuss more. Okay, so types of BADIs. There are different types of BADIs. There are classical BADI or normal BADI. You can also call normal BADI. In classical BADIs, we have multiple. That is single and multi implementation BADIs. We can take like this. This comes under classical BADI and multiple implementation BADI. This is also a classical BADI. Third one, filter dependent BADI. We have another BADI called kernel BADI. So these are the few different types of BADIs. We'll see each BADI with some example. Okay. So how like classical BADI means it allows multiple implementations if it is a there is a option, there is a checkbox available for each BADI definition to decide whether it is supporting multiple implementations or only single implementation possible. I'll show you that. Filter dependent BADI. So these type of BADIs are used to implement, for example, country specific implementations. It will accept country code as input and it will trigger that implementation. Depends on the country input. Okay, or currency code wise implementation. So we can create multiple implementations and we can trigger a particular implementation by that filter value. Filter means a input. BADI will accept a input. That is, if it is a country specific implementation, it will accept country code as input and it will execute the relevant implementation. So we'll see that one with example. Kernel BADI is a new ABAP BADI, advanced ABAP BADI. Okay, performance wise, kernel BADI is more efficient than classical BADIs. Okay, calling kernel BADI is little different. We'll see that with an example. So what are the transaction codes for BADI? SC18. What is SC18? BADI definitions. BADI definitions. It is similar to SMOD, customer exits. SC19, to implement the BADI or to change the existing implementation. Okay. So what are the important transaction codes related to BADI? SC18 is to check the BADI definitions and SC19 is to create the implementation or change the existing implementations. Clear? Now we'll see like how we need to find the BADI definitions and how we need to create the implementations. Okay. So for baddies, we can find available baddie definitions in multiple ways. One is using package approach, just like customer exit. First, we need to find the package of that standard transaction code program, and by that package, we can find all available baddie definitions for that package. The other approach, so here we are going to find like here we are by using that package, we can get all the list of baddies. Okay, all the bad is available for the standard transaction code, but in general what is our requirement? So I need a specific baddie definition which I need to create implementation, right? I need to there might be 10 or 20 baddie definitions available for that package, but I don't want to implement all of them, right? I need to have only one baddie definition which is suitable for my requirement, correct? For example, when I click on save button, I need to execute some functionality, correct? That is the scenario, that is the requirement. For that, we need to find that exact baddie definition. What is the baddie that is going to execute when we click on save button? By using package approach, we cannot find it. Or maybe we need to go through the documentation we can so that we can find it. But in general, if we need to find a specific baddie that is executing for specific action, there is a other approach. That is, we need to use a class CL exit handler. The class name is CL exit handler, and we need to keep a breakpoint and we need to execute that standard transaction code so that it will show all the available baddie definitions at that specific action. For example, when user click on save, what are all the baddie definitions provided by SAP? It will show all those baddie definitions, not everything, but baddie definitions which are available for the save action. Okay, clear? So just like customer exits, right? Baddies are also provided by SAP and added somewhere in between the program, standard program lines. So these allows to add additional codes, additional functionality by the user whenever required. So baddie should be provided by SAP. We can only create the implementation for the existing baddie definitions. Okay, clear? Is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we'll see the navigations. So what is the transaction code for baddie definition? SC18.
18.
This is
C18.
the transaction code for baddie definition. Here you can see another option, enhancements part. Okay, we'll discuss more in the next classes about the enhancements part. First, concentrate on baddie. Okay, so here you can find all the baddie definitions. All the baddie definitions usually starts with the baddie. You can also keep star and So these are all the baddies available. Okay, to find the baddie, right, you can also use some star here. For example, baddie material. Maybe it will show all the material related baddies, material management related baddies. See, these are all material related baddies. Baddie material check, baddie material CC, baddie feeder material. So just see this baddie definition display. What does this contain? Go to documentation,
Interface.
display. Just read the documentation available. You can use baddie material check to implement your own field checks and partial changes to the material master data. So it is saying we can partially change we can do partial changes to the material master data as well as we can check the field values. Okay, here in this baddie activities, after calling up IMG activity, so they have provided the steps to create the implementation. Okay, so click on this check data. This is the method available in that baddie. Baddie method check data is called in function module material update all. So what are they saying? They have included this baddie definition inside the standard function module material update and all. Is there any code available? They just provide some empty place. They just provide some empty area within this function module material update all in the form of baddie definition, so that we can add our custom code by using a baddie implementation. So the function module checks so this is the functionality of that method. Okay, so these are the parameters in the sense importing parameters of that baddie interface. Okay, so go back. So this is how we can find the baddie. One way of finding the baddie using stars, but it is always not possible to find the exact baddie by using stars, because we know that the baddie name is very clear here, baddie star material. That's why we are able to find, but it is not same for every case. Okay, what is the other approach? Go to the standard transaction code, go to system status. This is to find the attribute of the program, sorry, package name of the program. Go to the standard program of MM01 and go to attributes. So what is the package? MGA is my package name. Now where we need to go? Where we need to enter this package?
SC19.
Go to SC80. Okay, go to SC80 object navigator. Here select the package and enter the package name. In this package, right, you can find all the programs, tables, data elements, whatever assigned to this package, even parameters, set parameters and get parameters. Now scroll down to enhancements. What are these? Classic baddie definitions. So these are all the baddie definitions provided by SAP for that MM01 or material master transaction codes. Clear? These are all the transaction codes. And these are the implementations. If implementations are already created, you can see here. Okay. So there are different options, enhancement spots, composite enhancement spots. We'll discuss more in the next sessions. So now we are working on classic baddies. Okay. So now These are all the BADI definitions available for material master transaction code. Double click on material check. Observe very carefully. Now, what does this BADI definition contains? This is a BADI definition. When we double click on this, you can see same screen as SC18. So it will just show the same screen as SC18. Go to interface. Go to interface. What you can find here? Interface. All the interfaces will starts with IF. Okay. All the standard interfaces will starts with IF. Custom interfaces will starts with ZIF. Okay. ZIF. So this interface contains methods. How many methods? 3 methods. What does this methods contains? Any code? Double click on the method. You can also open this interface in SC24. So what does this method contains?
Importing parameter.
Importing parameters and changing parameters. Please remember, interfaces cannot contain exporting parameters. Okay, you cannot find exporting parameters for the interfaces. You can find only importing and changing parameters. Okay, and they should be all public. Now go to methods. Can you find any code? When I am double clicking, it is not displaying any code because there is no implementation. There is no code implemented for these methods. This contains only importing and changing parameters. Okay, that's why we call interface methods as methods without any implementation. How to implement these interface methods?
Helper class.
With the help of a class. Okay, by adding this interface to a class, we can implement the interface methods. Okay, clear? Now it is automatically navigated to SC24. Now go back. So go back to SC18. You can also add this. You can also open BADI definition in SC18. Go to SC18. No, no, not enhancement spot. BADI name. So scroll down in properties. Scroll down. Observe this. What is this checkbox? Multi-use checkbox. So that means, so this BADI definition supports multiple implementations. Okay. So this BADI definition support multiple implementations. If the checkbox is not available, you cannot create multiple implementations for this BADI definition. There is some restriction. Okay. If it is SAP internal BADI, if you find a checkbox SAP internal, so we cannot create. SAP can create the implementations, but as a user or as a ABAP developer, we cannot create the implementations. It won't allow you to create implementations for SAP internal BADIs. Okay, maybe only their product development team can make use of it. Okay, and the filter dependent BADI, as I told you, it will have a filter value as a input, maybe country or maybe unit of measurement like that. Okay, it will execute the implementations depends on the filter value. Okay, so this is also a very important interview question. They'll ask you, how can you say that a BADI definition is available for multiple implementations? How can you say that? In BADI definition properties, there
Properties.
should be a checkbox, multi-use checkbox enabled. Then only it is available for multiple implementations. Okay. Check the other BADI definitions. BADI material check, BADI material OD. What is this BADI material OD? Go to properties and check, is it a multi-use BADI or not? It is also a multi-use BADI. BADI material ref. BADI material ref. Is it a multi-use BADI?
No, sir.
No, sir.
This is
No, sir.
only single implementation possible for this. This is also a multi-use BADI, but what is this SAP internal BADI? Can we create implementation for this?
No, sir.
We
No.
cannot create implementation. This is also a multi-use BADI. So what every BADI contains? What can you find in every BADI? Interface method or interfaces. Okay, a separate interface for each BADI definition and corresponding methods. Okay, clear? And we need to create implementation for these BADI definitions. Here we are able to see multiple BADI definitions, right? For example, I need to implement some validation on our yesterday we have implemented for customer exit, right? What is that? Validation on industry sector and material type, right? We need to do same kind of validation using BADI. How to find a relevant BADI definition for our requirement? Here you have to go through each and every BADI definition and go to the interface methods. Okay, go to interface method and check importing and exporting parameters of this interface method. You can also open this interface in SC24. Okay, you can also open this in SC24. Check importing parameters of each method. So this is check data method. What are the importing parameters? So it have MARA, MARCI and MARD tables. So it is so that means it is we are getting material master data, correct? Just like our yesterday's customer exit. So it is suitable for our requirement, correct? And check this MARA MEINS. So this contains material master data with industry sector and material type fields? No, right? These are different. So it is not suitable for our requirement. It's like that. You have to go through each and every interface method and identify the relevant interface method for our requirement. First, you need to find relevant BADI definition, right? First, you need to find the relevant BADI definition. And what next? Once you are able to find relevant BADI definition, and you should be able to find a relevant interface method where you need to implement your code, correct? Is everyone clear?
Yes,
But
sir.
here we have list of baddies when we use package, and we need to go by each baddie and we need to observe each and every interface method so that we are able to find exact definition and exact interface method. What is the other way? So we need to execute our checks when we need to execute our validation. When we click on save, right? When the user click on save, our baddie should execute, right? Our functionality of validation should execute, right? So how to find that exact baddie definition which executes after save? There is another approach. So to find exact baddie definition for our requirement, that is by using a class, standard class CL exit this one. CL exit handler is the class. Click on display. There is a method inside this. What type of method it is? It's a static method. Double click on the get instance method. Go to the code. There is a method called inside this get instance method. There is a method that is get class name by interface. Get class name by interface. Click on here. Keep a breakpoint here in this class. Now, when you keep a breakpoint here, this breakpoint will trigger for each and every action. Whatever the action you perform, it will trigger the breakpoint and it will return in exit name, it will return the BADI definitions. What it will return? The BADI definitions available for your action. For example, if you click on confirm, it will trigger the breakpoint and it will return BADI is available for that action. Clear? So I kept a breakpoint here at get class name by interface. Now what is our next step? Go to our standard transaction code. Go to MM01. Click on F8 because we are not at the transaction code. I told you, right? It will trigger for each and every. Observe this. What I did now, I executed MM01 transaction code, right? If you want to populate any default values in the initial selection screen, if that is your requirement, what do you need to do? You need to create some enhancement, right? Since it's a standard transaction code, let's observe, is there any BADI definitions available here? Before displaying the screen, before displaying the initial screen, is there any BADIs triggering? Is there any BADIs provided by SAP for example, to populate any default values or to populate any or to execute any default functionality? Click on F6, exit name. See, there is one exit, BADI screen logic underscore RT. This BADI is available even before displaying the screen. It's kind of initialization. F6, click on F8 again. There is another available. So there is one BADI definition available before displaying the screen, right? What is that BADI? We can find that in the list. So open this BADI in SC18 and check what is the package. Package is different, MGW. This might be for different transaction code, okay? But the package name is different, not MGA. This package name is MGW. So it's also a multi-use BADI. But when this BADI is triggering, exit for customer's own control of screen sequences and validity. Reduce screen selection, change screen sequence, area of validity direct. Okay, looks like it is related to, like it is executing even before displaying the MM01. Okay, to implement some screen sequence relevant functionality. Now let's go back to our MM01. Now there is one BADI definition before displaying the screen. Now just try to create the material. Again it is triggering. What is the exit available here? Material 901. Click on F8. Select the industry sector. Select the industry sector and select the material type. I'll select this additionals and click on continue. So what is this? Someone implemented a customer exit. That customer exit is triggered here
Yes, sir.
because there is a breakpoint, break space best. Our BADI. When we click on continue, what are the BADI available? When we enter the material number, industry sector, and material type, and click on continue, what is the BADI available? BADI material underscore OD. This is the BADI available before displaying that pop-up screen, right? If you want any functionality related to that pop-up screen, you can implement this. Clear? BADI material OD. If you want to find what is this BADI material OD, go to SC818 and check the BADI definition. So integration of new objects in material article master. So these are the interface methods available. Now click on F8. Now it is displaying these check boxes, right? Now select the checkbox and click on continue. So looks like for this material type it is expecting plant. Enter the plant. So for plant selection, looks like there are some baddies available. Select any plant. So actually this is depend on the configuration. So continue. So there is missing configuration data. Okay, it's not allowing. We'll select some other material type. We'll select finished products only. Oh my god, for this also it is asking plant. But there is no proper data configured for that plant. Looks like this plant is allowed. So this BADI is available when we selected the plant and when we selected the checkbox. This is also available. BADI material reference. Okay. So we have two BADIs available when we selected the checkbox and click on continue. BADI material OD and BADI reference. Enter the unit of measurement and click on save. When we click on save, we'll find what are the BADIs available. BADI GTIN variant. This is one BADI available. After click on save. Check is this suitable for your requirement or not by going through the interface methods. There is another BADI. BADI material reference is also triggering when we click on save. And BADI material check is also triggering when we click on save button. BADI layer. So BADI material check again is triggering. So these total 3 BADIs are triggering when we click on save. Correct? So by using the CL exit handler, we can find suitable baddies, exact baddies triggering for that particular action. Okay. So we can narrow down the BADI definitions, which are helpful for your implementation. Clear? Is everyone clear on this? How to find the BADI definitions? First available option is you can just try stars, right? F4 option in SC18. So you might find the relevant BADI definition. What is the other option? Find the package name of the program and go to
Go
SC80
to
and
SAP.
enter the package name. You can find the list of the baddies. And what is the other option? To narrow down the search to find the exact baddie definitions for each action, we need to use CL
CL
exit
exit
handler.
handler.
CL exit handler class. There we need to keep a breakpoint in that CL exit handler. This one. CL exit handler is the class and get instance is the method. And you need to keep a breakpoint at get class name by interface. So it will return all the baddie definitions available. Okay, clear? Shall we create one implementation? Go to SC18. So when I executed the baddie exit handler, I found that baddie material check is the relevant baddie definition for my requirement. Baddie material check. This one. Go to the importing parameters of this interface method. Double click. I need to remove the breakpoint in CL exit handler. Otherwise, it will trigger for every action. So these are the importing parameters available for this interface method. This is suitable for my requirement, right? To validate the material type and industry sector. Double click on the Mara. It contains all the fields, right? Industry sector and material type. So this is suitable for my requirement. Let's create an implementation for this baddie material check. What is the transaction code to create the implementation?
SAP.
First go to SC18. Enter the baddie name. Click on display. Before going to implement, so what is the type of baddie it is? Is it a multi-use baddie or not? Is it a multi-use baddie or not?
Multi-use.
It's a multi-use baddie. So that means multiple implementations are possible. So before going to create the implementation, first check is there any existing implementations created by other users. That is possible, right? Other users can also create their own implementations. There might be already existing implementations, right? How can you find the existing implementations of this baddie definition? Go to the baddie definition in SC18 and go to implementations overview. Go to implementations overview. So these are these are all standard, but check for custom implementations. How many are there? There are three
3.
implementations. Okay, there are three implementations already created for this baddie. Okay, now let's open SC19 new session. What is SC19? Before
Batting
transaction code,
limited.
create the
Batting
implementations or edit implementations. Check each implementation. Baddie mat check. Go to edit implementation. Go to classic baddie. Click on display. This implementation is active. Go to interface. If you observe this, one class is automatically created, right? One class is there in the implementation. What does that mean? So to implement the interface method, right? What we need to implement the interface method?
Class.
We need a class, right? So that BADI is going to automatically generate one class for this implementation. Just double click on the class and go to interfaces. What you can find here? What is this? Interface, right? This is an interface. This interface available in BADI definition. It is automatically added to the class in interfaces and created the implementation for this BADI definition. Click on filter. You can show only implemented methods. Double click on the BADI method. If you observe this, what are they doing here? Looks like they are concatenating the material text and they are modifying the material text, right? They are modifying material text. Looks like they are using what are they adding? They are adding hyphen India to each and every material text, correct? So they have also created implementation, but they did not write any code. What is the other implementation? BADI material check. Someone already created these implementations. So one class is generated. Let's find what they have implemented. But this is inactive. This BADI is not active. So looks like they are restricting some material group A10. But this implementation is inactive. That's why it is not highlighted in yellow color, correct? Only active implementations are highlighted in this yellow color. Inactive implementations are in the other color. Check the other BADI implementation. This is also inactive. They are doing some validation and combination of material type and plant. If this is the material type and this is the plant, finished products are not allowed in. So when they are selecting the plant, right, what they are saying, finished products are not allowed for this plant. They are restricting the material type by plant. Okay. So let's create our own implementation. So what is the transaction code to create the implementation? SC19. Now create implementation. Go to classic BADI. Enter the BADI definition. Then create implementation. Provide the implementation name. For example, I'll follow some naming conventions like ZEI. EI means enhancement implementation. That's what my naming convention I follow. Okay. ZEI material check. Now when you create the implementation, what will happen? It will automatically generate a class. When you create the implementation for BADI definition, what it will do? It will automatically generate one class, because we can only implement the interface methods with the help of the class. Okay. Go to interfaces. If you observe here, one class is automatically generated. Before saving, you can, if you want to change the class name, you can change here. Now, how to implement the interface method? Double click on it. Yes. So save it in a package and add it to the transport request. For now, I am saving it in the local object. Now write your code between method and end method. Okay, with the help of your importing parameters. I think I've implemented the wrong method. Check mass marc data. This is not the correct one. Check data. Click on check data. Now this is the suitable method. Now write your validation. If wmara hyphen rt equal to, what is that validation we implemented yesterday? Or as I said earlier, don't implement the code, but just keep a breakpoint. Just observe, is this breakpoint is going to trigger along with the standard functionality or not. Just activate everything which are relevant, even the class. Okay, you have to activate everything which are relevant to this BADI implementation. Now go and execute the standard transaction code. We are already having a customer exit for the same requirement. Create one material, select the industry material type. I'll select some finished product. Click on continue. This is not our implementation. This is some customer exit created by others. Okay, it is not relevant to us. Enter correct material type and industry sector.
Sir, finished good product only I'm selected, sir.
Okay, looks like someone implemented a BADI or some implementation here. They are restricting this combination of material type and mechanical engineering. Let's try selecting other. It is allowed. Click on continue. Plant 11511. So after click on save, ideally, why our BADI definition is not triggered or BADI implementation did not trigger. Let's check why it is not triggering, because it is inactive. Okay, our implementation is inactive. Activate the implementation. Come back to the BADI and activate the implementation. Now let's try creating one more material. 903. Click on continue. This is not relevant to us. Enter the plant 1511. Enter the unit of measurement. Click on save. Now your BADI definition is triggered, right? Your BADI implementation is triggered. Now let's check what are the importing parameters. Go to local, double click on the Mara. So you are getting the data, right? Material number and material type is ZFIN. Industry sector is M. Okay. Shall we implement some validation here? F8. Go to your BADI implementation. Double click on it. And just we'll add some message. Okay. If W Mara hyphen RT equal to this one and MBRSH is mechanical only, right? I'm just displaying some message. Okay, you can implement any other functionality. I'm using information message. Is it going to stop the transaction processing? I'm using information message. Is it going to stop material creation?
No, sir.
No, it won't create, it won't stop the material creation. It will continue creating the material when we click on continue. But just for the example sake, I've implemented this message. Okay. Instead of this, you can implement any functionality. Activate the method and activate the interface method and make sure your BADI is active. BADI implementation is active. Okay. Now let's create one more material. It's not relevant to us. F5 BADI implementation is triggered. So since the material type is this and industry sector is this, it is triggering this. If you click on continue, the material will be created. Just to notify the user. Okay. If you want to notify the user about something, you can use information message. Okay. Or shall we restrict user to create uh, this material type for the specific plant? So I wanted to restrict what is the plant number we are entering? 1511, right? Shall we restrict the material type, this material type, Z fin for that specific plant? So I don't want to create a material for a specific plant for the specific material type. I wanted to restrict the user. How can you do that? Where is the plant number? Go to Mara. Is the plant number available here? Control F. Plant. Plant data available is available in this MARC. Okay. Plant, it is a plant master data table. WRK is the plant. So let's write a condition on this. What is a plant structure? WMARC. What is the plant name?
WERKS.
What is the plant we are selecting? 1511.
1511.
Let's assume 1511 is the Tata plant. Okay. And we'll raise error message. So we are restricting this particular material type for this plant, or also will restrict the combination material type and industry sector combination. M. If the material type is ZFIN and industry sector is M and the plant is 1511, so we are not going to allow to create the material because this material type and industry sector combination is invalid for this plant. For this 1511 plant, it is not allowed. Okay. Now we activate it. BAD is active. Now let's create the material. I think it is Jetfin and industry sector is M. Click on continue. Ignore this customer exit. Someone implemented it. Enter the plant 1511. Click on continue. Enter the unit of measurement. Click on save. There is some message being displayed by others. Just click on enter. So it is triggering this condition. In Marcy, you can find the plant data in Marcy structure. Okay. MARC hyphen works is 1511. So it is true, right? The if statement is true, then it should raise the error message. This material type is not allowed for Tata plant. So it is not allowing to create a material with that combination. Or also you can check unit of measurement, whatever the value you want. Here we have different values, right? You can check the material group. Depends on your requirement. You can write your logic. Okay. Is everyone clear? So we created one implementation, right? Now go to 18, SE18 and check the implementations overview. This is our implementation, right? EI material check is our implementation. It is in yellow because it is active. If you want to disable the implementation, what you need to do? If you don't want to execute this logic, whatever the validation we have implemented, what you need to do? Go to the implementation and deactivate the implementation, right? Go to C19, display, just deactivate this, change it. I'm already editing somewhere. Where is it? I think this one. Just deactivate it. You can find the deactivate button, right? Go to SC19 and enter the BADI implementation name and deactivate it. So whatever the functionality you implemented inside the BADI, that is not going to work along with the standard functionality. Okay, clear? But in recent times, in many projects, they are using switch tables. Switch table nothing but they'll create one master table and they are going to include all the baddies in that master table and they'll use some checkbox or X. If they marked it active and we are going to execute the implementation, if they deactivate it through table maintenance, we are not going to execute the BADI definition. We'll see one example tomorrow, right? How to implement that switch table logic before going to execute the BADI implementations. Okay. So that's about BADI implementation. We'll see more examples in the next session.